Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. How do you think Maitreya is going to align himself politically? Now, currently, Maitreya has been doing interviews on TV in a lot of countries around the world, and I'm sure more than I actually really know, and doing it on a regular basis. Now, most people still haven't recognized him yet. Some people have. But for the most part, the vast majority of people don't see him as anything unusual. They see him as just one of us. A concerned person who's concerned about the problems of the world, really. And his message is very gentle. His message is very soft, so it doesn't lead to any kind of alarm listening to people, any kind of concern. And so let's take a look at it like from that standpoint, right? Now, how is he going to align himself? Now, Maitreya knows that the people themselves have to do the changes. We have to make the changes. Humanity has to do it. And it's not an either or. It can't just be forced on people. Even if it's the best thing for us, it can't be forced on us. We have to kind of want it ourselves. Now, Maitreya's job, according to the Buddha, is to inspire and galvanize humanity to build this brilliant golden civilization based on righteousness and truth. Not very many people can pull that one off. I know I can't. So that's his job. Now, it's our job to actually build the civilization based on righteousness and truth, but it involves everybody, really. Now, some people will be doing more of the work than others, but it's going to eventually everyone's going to get involved. It might take hundreds of years, but eventually we all will. Now, in the meantime, there's a lot of political divisions, right? There's a lot of divisions between countries and so forth. Now, if you look at Jesus 2,000 years ago, right, he did a lot of the same thing. He didn't really align himself politically with anybody, and he didn't suck up to the powers that be. He spoke the truth. Now, Jesus was doing it in Palestine. Maitreya is going to be doing it all over the world. So it's a whole lot trickier than it was back 2,000 years ago. The world's a lot smaller than it was a whole lot, 2,000 than it was 2,000 years ago. So there's a lot more going on, a lot more viewpoints. We have social media, we have all this stuff, right? But politically, Maitreya is not going to align with somebody just to align with them. He's got his own plans for humanity, which is that we share the resources to create justice, to create peace. Now, that's his top priority. Second, very, very close second is SOP, save our planet. Working on our environment, helping to save our environment. But like I said, it has to be done with every country. So he's not going to align himself with the United States over, let's say, France or South Africa or something like this. He is of anybody is going to find a middle ground between us, especially like when it comes to the Middle East. He's not going to align himself with Israel on everything like the United States does. It's not fair, right? And so he's going to be coming more from a centrist point of view. Now, he's got to be very careful about what he says, how he says it, of course, how things are approached, and he has plans for how to create peace in the Middle East and so forth. And really, I think if Maitreya is who I think he is, that solution to that major problem that's been going on for decades and decades and decades really it's going to take somebody of the stature of the Christ to help solve that. I don't think that humanity can do it on its own. And it's so dangerous. They're so divided. There's just, how can you really do it unless you have that kind of love? But if you looked at it 2,000 years ago, Jesus, excuse me, ruffled a lot of the feathers of even his disciples by entering the homes of, Matthew, the tax collector. Excuse me. And how that was a huge deal, but yet Jesus did it because, like Jesus said, he doesn't come to save he comes for the sinners, and those who have already repented, don't really need his help. I don't know exactly how he said it, but that's kind of the meaning of it, right? But looking at it politically, Maitreya is going to kind of do the same thing. So, you might see him on TV talking to Republicans. Then you might see him talking to Democrats. And you might see him talking to the Zionist in Israel. Then you might see him talking to the Palestinians and so forth. And so you're going to see him moving from side to side, trying to work and trying to help us work it out. But he's not going to agree with everything that everybody says. He's going to be speaking the truth. So there might be times, let's say you're a really, really, really progressive person. You want to see the change right now. Well, Maitreya might think that that's not the best course of action to be that fast. So some of the things that he says might shock you a little bit, or at least concern you that he's not acting fast enough or something like that, or helping us act fast enough, really, is more a better way of saying it. But yet it's the right thing to do. And if you're extremely conservative, a lot of the things that Maitreya is going to be advocating, of course, are new. And with anything new and any changes, there's a lot of fear behind it. So he knows that he can't just make it as quickly as all of us would like, or some of us would like, that we're going to have to go at our own pace. Now, I think, relatively speaking to what it looks like today, it's going to go by very fast. But there's going to be things that, the major priorities, like sharing, I think is going to be something that he's really going to need to eventually start showing us that we have to have a sense of urgency to fix that problem. Same thing with the environment, of course. Now, other things like some of his other priorities, he might be able to go a little slower than those other things, and have it more of a, kind of a gradual kind of process. Other priorities might have to wait until other priorities are put into place. Maitreya's priorities are there for a reason, but it really is nothing less, like I said, than the transformation of the hearts and minds of all of us is the goal, is the aim, and by that happening, our structures and our society will change, because we will naturally change. But he's not gonna let up, but at the same time, he might at times have to have a kind of a more gentle tone to his message, like he's doing now, where he's not as open and direct about what he needs to do, because he doesn't want to, not for his sake, not because he's scared or timid to say it. It's just that he knows how our reaction is going to end, is going to be if it's too fast. You know what I mean? So he might be saying, slow down, wait, be patient. It's going to be fine. We got time on this. Don't worry about it. But he's going to also take more of a synthesis approach, more of cooperation. So he's not going to be like a tyrant coming in and telling certain political parties or certain countries what they should be doing and this, that, and the other. But yet he'll be taking the best of the Republican Party and the best of the Democratic Party and try to help synthesize it. Because that's really where we're headed. Both political parties, like in this country, the Republicans are very conservative and as a general rule, and Democrats are a little bit more progressive, but yet there's good and bad in both parties. And he's going to help, and then the masters are going to help us see what's good in what we're doing and what's bad in what we're doing. Same thing with the economy, right? The masters aren't advocating getting rid of capitalism altogether. It's just that the percentage right now is so skewed toward capitalism and commercialization. It makes it a very dangerous type of system, because it doesn't account for people's needs. It just chews them up and spits them out in the name of profit, So the masters right now are saying, like in the United States, for instance, it's like 95% capitalism, 5% socialism, if that much. Well, it needs to be, 70-30, 70% socialism, 30% capitalism. You see what I'm saying? So it's a huge percentage difference in the end, but in the meantime, and actually in the end, it's not going to be 100% socialism and zero capitalism. They're going to take the best of capitalism, what's working with it, and then what's not working with it, right? Of course, we have half the people in the world not being able to make ends meet or starving to death, right? And you got other, small percentage living in just huge luxury, right? And so that doesn't work. So we're going to have to find a compromise in it, right? But when Maitreya talks to some of these people, even in the immediate future, you might be surprised what you hear from Maitreya on TV. It might not be quite as direct. It might be a little softer, a little muter, but his intention is clear. We have to share in order to create justice, to create peace in the world, so we'll have a future. Because the future I'm going to be talking about in another video, even though I don't really know how the future is going to turn out either, it's a lot better than most people think. But in the meantime, and as always, take action. Help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos. Have a great day.